So the third lesson is one of the most important. And while that has to do with food in a way, it really has to do so much more with the change that happened in me at the beginning of COVID. It was one of the darkest times of my entire life. And um, my wife and I sat in this restaurant. She had quit her career, and we lost our medical and we lost her paycheck. And 3 months later, going all in on the restaurant, COVID hits. And over the course of a couple of months, we started trying to figure this thing out. We had to survive. I'm a survivor, and the lesson is called giving for the right reasons. I know it's going to be hard for me to talk about this, but I was angry at the beginning of COVID when the programs came out, and there was a lot of restaurants that were doing these programs and making boxed meals and public facing. I heard a lot about how this was all for the community and it was all for the right reasons. And I was angry because I had heard, multiple conversations and been included in a lot of conversations. And these programs were extremely beneficial for these restaurants. And it wasn't that doing these programs was not doing something good, but I just wanted people to be real about why they were giving. They were doing it to keep their businesses alive, and they were doing it and it was profitable. And that's a great thing, but I wanted the truth. So I got upset one night and I told my wife, I'm going to make a bunch of soup. We're going to bake off a bunch of bread and I'm going to go feed people. And I'm not going to say anything and I'm not going to video it. And I'm not going to do any of that because that's not what giving is about. And I'll never forget the first night. I think it was out in front of the library, and there was a huge encampment, a lot of tents and people, homeless and unhoused. And I walked up and gave the first person the little soup with bread on top, I put down the second one and I looked at the guy in the eyes. And by the time I had turned around, I was already melting and crying because I had realized in that moment that I had an expectation that he was going to say, thank you. I was giving him something. Where was that reward back? And it was in that moment that I had realized that I had probably never given for the right reasons in my entire life. And I maintained this feeling for hours, and I couldn't get over this realization that it didn't make me a bad person, but it definitely didn't make all the things I was trying to do for people good. And it was one of the heaviest lessons I've ever learned in my life. And it really changed the way that I treated people in this restaurant, made me change the way that I run the restaurant. And it really changed the way that I give to my children and give to my wife. It's something that changed me for the good so much. And I wanted to bring back that memory for this menu because that is, without a doubt, one of the most important lessons I learned. And I wanted to give soup and bread. So I'm going to make soup and bread as a hopefully 2-star Michelin dish. To give for the right reasons, to show people to give for the right reasons, and to showcase that something so simple can be so beautiful. There's so much thought behind what we do at Localis, and so often we don't get to tell the whole story. We don't get to tell the idea of a certain vessel being chosen because of the ideology behind the dish. And I want this to be so significant. So the plating is going to be beautiful, lots of garnish and hits, and of course a beautiful soup, amazing bread. But we want to serve it in this way that's just real. I might even serve it in a pint container. I'm not sure because that's what the soup was in. But I want people to have that base feeling of being given to with no expectations. And as I learned more and more and grappled with the reality of where I was and where I am now, it's been a beautiful thing to remember, in a term that the right hand should give with the left hand not understanding what's happening. And I've tried to carry that through in business, and I've tried to carry that through in personal, and I've tried to carry that through in my relationships. And I think it's done a lot of good for me. And I'm very excited to present Giving for the Right Reasons as soup and bread.